Right. Go ahead, Mellody.
Hi, I'm Mellody Hobson. I'm chairman of the board of After School Matters. I'm so happy to have you all here on this exciting evening. Hopefully this will be the first of many exciting evenings we'll have while we're all in this unfortunate situation of the pandemic. It's precisely because of the times that we're in, from civil unrest to the pandemic to so many things that we're confronting as a society, that we thought it's best to bind together as much as we possibly can as a community and be there to support each other. We want you to know at After School Matters, the leadership, that we are here for you, that you are the future of our city, and we are invested in you, and we wanted to stop everything we're doing to have this conversation. Now, fortunately, we get to have it with a superstar who happens to be one of my friends, Miss Alicia Keys, 15-time Grammy winner. So excited to have her in conversation and just to talk to her about what's going on, what she's thinking and feeling, how she manages during this time, advice that she has for all of us, including me. We're also joined by our superstar, rock star Mayor Lori Lightfoot, and our First Lady, Amy Eshelman. So grateful to them both for being here, and we'll hear from the mayor in a moment, as well as the CEO of the Chicago Public Schools, Dr. Janice Jackson. We are all here because we want you to know that After School matters and that our teens matter. And so let's start right off by hearing from our mayor, Lori Lightfoot, with some welcoming comments before we get to our conversation with Grammy award-winning Alicia Keys. Mayor Lightfoot and Amy.
Thank you, Mellody, and thanks everyone for gathering tonight. This is about our young people and ASM board member. I also want to thank Alicia Keys for taking time out of her busy schedule to share with our young people who I know are super, super excited. CEO of Chicago Public Schools, Dr. Janice Jackson, or as we like to call her, our Dr. J. Youth leader JJ Rivera-Regay, and youth leader Sierra Evans. We're here to celebrate you, our city's teens, and give you a space to share your thoughts about the events that have changed the entire world, including yesterday's heartbreaking news that Kentucky state justice system failed to hold the men who killed Breonna Taylor accountable. I can't even begin to tell you how necessary your positive spirit and optimism have been through these challenging times. I get asked the question all the time, Mayor, what do you do to think about hope? What do you do to energize yourself? And the thing that I say over and over again is, I look at our young people and I look at how they are performing and how they are rising to the occasion and really challenging and leading us to a better tomorrow and a better Chicago. That's what you have done for me personally, but what you've done for people all over the city. The way in which you participated in a range of different opportunities that have been at your fingertips. What you've told us over and over again is if you love us and you support us, we will do great things. And that is exactly what you have shown us over and over again, even in these most difficult times. So I know that this is not the time that you thought it was going to be. It's not the start of the school year that you thought it was going to be, but hang in there. Better times are coming. And I also want to say one last thing. There are two critically important things that you need to do before too long and too much time passes. One is make sure that you are counted in the census. Everything that we depend upon for resources, good schools, infrastructure, parks, funding for the kind of programs that make a difference in your life. The census is the gatekeeper. So sign up, make sure that your whole household, your whole family is counted. It's critically important. It's easy to do. It takes 5 minutes, but go to the census website, fill out the form, call up the number, but make sure that you and your family are counted. And for those of you who are going to be 18 or older by November 3rd, please make sure that you have a plan to vote. Don't give your power away to someone else. Stand up and use one of the most powerful tools of activism, and that is our right to vote. Too many people in our heritage have fought and died over the right to vote. And I want to make sure that all of us are living up to that legacy and fulfilling our responsibility by making sure that we vote. Early voting in Illinois started today. No time like the present to make a plan to make sure that you vote. And let me just close by saying this. Mellody, thank you. Your commitment to our kids is beyond amazing. You are unparalleled in your incredible commitment. You never stray far from thinking about what can I personally do to make sure that there are a million streams of opportunity for our young people. And we are grateful for your leadership, for your generosity, and for the conversation that's going to happen tonight and going forward. So Mellody, on behalf of a grateful city and young people who may never know you, but for whom you are their champion, thank you so much. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Mayor. It is my pleasure and an honor to serve our city and to serve our young people. I want to bring Alicia right into this conversation. Alicia, everyone is excited to hear from you. I want to start right off by just asking the hard question. I get to ask the questions in the beginning, and then we're going to have some of our young people ask questions as well. But I just want to start off by asking a hard question. I read your post about the Breonna Taylor news this morning, and you talked about the fact that you don't like to use the word hate, but you were feeling hate for the system that could make this possible. Bring to life how you feel right now about this outcome.
Thank you, Mellody. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you, everybody who's joining us right now. I'm so excited to hear about you and learn more about you. I'm heartbroken. I mean, I am, I was up this morning, I think I wrote that post probably 2 a.m. I was up crying and I just can't even believe that we have to constantly witness and see this over and over. So firstly, I would just say that it's okay to feel not great. It's okay to be upset. It's okay to be hurt. It's okay to be frustrated. And I also know that it is our duty to be the brightest light that we can possibly be, fiercely, because there's so much darkness and there are so many people that really want to try to make us think that we are not the powerful beings we are. And so after I woke up this morning, after my big hard cry, I also remembered that we have to continue to be the light that we need for each other and for the world, and to shine it fiercely in these dark spaces. But man, it hurts. It hurts bad.
Tell me how you think about this, Alicia. It's like problem on top of problem on top of problem compounded right now. The pandemic, the isolation, there are real issues affecting our community in a major, major way, not just how we've been affected, especially Black and Brown, by the pandemic in terms of real life and death issues, but also the food insecurity, the housing insecurity, the financial insecurity. All of this is a lot. How do you think about it? Maybe we don't all have each of those problems, but certainly we have some of them. And at the very least, we have empathy for those who are struggling. How do you process all of that?
Man, I mean, it's definitely intense. It's extremely intense. And it's scary. I think all of us feel a level of uncertainty and unsteadiness that is definitely a real thing. And there is so much happening. There is definitely so much happening. How am I processing it is I do know that there is something that's being called of us. There's something that's being asked of us. I really do believe that there's a bigger point to all of this, which is that there is great transformation happening, and it is the time for great awakening. And there is certain things can no longer be left in the dark. Certain things can no longer be swept under the rug. There are issues and there's problems and there's real core fabric situations that the foundation of this country was built on. And we now have to face it, and we have to decide what we're going to do about it. You know, it is definitely time for consciousness. It is time to educate ourselves. It is time to be the artists that we are, so that we can collectively create the powerful voices that help to spread the message, and also to let people know what is happening, why it's happening. I think there's a level of accountability that we're holding each other to. You know, the people we know, even our friends, our family. I mean, there's so many people that I've spoken to and that said even their own family, you know, they're having conversations that they've never had before. Kids having conversations with their parents saying, you got to wake up, you know, and this is powerful. So I think there is, amongst all of the struggle, there is a tremendous opportunity for us to really lean into what our purpose is collectively. So I feel invigorated by it. I feel, you know, my purpose feels more intentional, you know, and I encourage everybody who's watching right now to know that you are desperately needed. Doesn't matter what's going on, where you live, how old you are, what you look like. Your contribution is desperately needed. Your passion, your love, your heart, your spirit, your energy, and your intelligence is needed. So that's how I'm looking at it.
What do you say to people who are feeling hopeless? I mean, there are people out there. In your book, you talk about, sometimes you wrote this best-selling, New York Times best-selling, because of course everything you do, you are world class. You wrote this unbelievable New York Times bestseller about your life. And you talked about some of your challenging moments and times when you felt hopeless. And maybe people don't see, how could this unbelievably famous person, who they probably perceive has everything that she wants, and certainly the admirations of tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions of people, how could she ever feel hopeless? What do you say to those people who feel hopelessness, especially right now?
Yeah, I mean, you know, again, I think that there's a certain, one thing I've been learning is, you know, you have to allow yourself to feel how you feel. You know, we do this thing where we have to always put on this perfect face and this perfect energy for everybody. And it's fatiguing. It's very difficult to maintain. It's impossible. You know, nobody feels excellent at every moment of every minute. We all are struggling. We all have our challenges. We all have the things we're needing to learn and grow from. It's just, and I don't think it'll ever totally stop, you know, no matter how far you go or the success you have, or, you know, whatever it is that you might obtain, it doesn't change the fact that we're all learning and growing and trying to figure it out. So one of the things I've definitely gotten better at is being more honest with myself. There's some days where I can't shake it and I just don't feel good. And instead of trying to pretend like I feel good or saying it's going to get, you know, I just can say, I don't feel good. And I don't have an answer. I don't have a solution. I don't even know exactly what I'm going to do about it. But just the admittance of it alone creates space for it to like come out, and for you to say, whoa, I let that out. So I think we got to release how we feel. We can't hold it in. We have to, you know, if there's nobody to talk to, listen, I don't have a lot of people to talk to, believe it or not. I don't have a lot of friends. I don't have a ton of people that I interface with, but I have my journal. And let me tell you, I write in my journal in the morning and I get out my feelings and I say all the crazy things that are coming to my head that I feel like are driving me nuts. And after I've released it, I feel better. I think it's definitely important to surround yourself with people who have the right energy. You know who that is. You know, you have certain friends that, man, they just don't have the right energy. And even though
Say more about that.
You love them and you have history with them, but if that's not, if people aren't bringing you a good energy, you have to make the choice to only accept great energy in your world. You know what I mean? I know that it seems impossible. Sometimes it's your family. Sometimes it's the people that are closest to you. And you're like, what am I supposed to do? I live with this person. How can I get away? But, you know, you have to really focus on extracting yourself from that energy, because people want to pull you in. They want to pull you in. You know what they say, misery loves company, and they want to pull you in, and they want you to be miserable too, and you have to make a choice and say, no, I'm not doing that. I will step away. I will leave the space. I will not engage. I'm going to only accept good energy. So that's one of the things that helps me a lot. And sometimes it takes a lot of bravery, because you have to be quite, you have to make the choice, but you can do it, and it helps.
Tell me, when you think about all the things that you're working on right now, so you hosted the Grammys for the second time. First of all, the first time you did it and you played those two pianos, I was so, I sent you a text like, this is the most amazing thing I've ever seen. And you told me how many hours you practiced to pull that off.
Yes.
You hosted the Grammys. You wrote a New York Times bestseller. You just released a new album.
Yes.
New skincare line. This is like in the last few months. Like, any one of those would have been hard, and you've done all those things at once. What is bringing you the most joy and fulfillment right now?
Oh man, I mean, what's bringing me the most joy and fulfillment is really being able to be myself, and not having to pretend, or not having to not accept the different sides of who I am that might not be, so perfectly aligned or so perfectly presentable. I really appreciate I'm fulfilled by the acceptance of myself as I am in this moment today, which is flawed and has issues and situations, and that's okay. And that brings me a lot of fulfillment, because I feel free, to be as I am and who I am. And I'm also feeling very motivated to continue to just, be an energy source of light. Like I said, there's a lot happening around us, and look, we can go anywhere and see all the negative everything any second of any minute of every day. And I'm encouraged and excited and thrilled, and I feel fulfilled by having another point of view and offering that and sharing that. Even with what you mentioned, the skincare, it's called soul care. And I called it that because we focus on skincare, nail care, hair care, body care, but we don't ever focus on soul care. What about your soul? Like, what's really filling your soul up? And how can we get more comfortable and used to asking ourselves what that is, and being able to describe it? It's something else.
It's interesting because I always think about this concept of energy givers and energy takers. And there are people who just take energy from you, and there are people who give it. You're an energy giver. And my test, it's a super simple test.
What is it?
When the phone rings and you see the number, do you want to take the call, or do you want it to go to voicemail?
Okay, done.
The energy taker, you want it to go to voicemail, and the energy giver, you're running for the phone. And I run for the phone for you because you're an energy giver. You give out that light, even if it's not it's not all sunny side up,
right? But
you're a real person who is about, I think, holding people up, not taking them down. And I really appreciate that. It feels like, does this idea of this fulfillment about you in terms of being okay with yourself and getting that fulfillment from it, does that feel new to you? Or is that something, did that take you a while to get there? You talk about that a little bit in your book.
Yes, I mean, very, very much so. It's been quite a journey for me. I started very, very young in this, crazy, weird, non-normal business, music business, entertainment business. I was 14 years old when I first, really entered the space and really trying to figure out who I am as a young woman and as a person in this space. And so oftentimes I think I found that I hid myself just to survive, just to merely make it through. And I wasn't comfortable with, even expressing my sadnesses or the things that were overwhelming or whatever the case was. I felt like I always had to be some perfect representation of myself. And so it did take me a long time to find the way to recognize that is not the case, and that nobody has to do that. You don't have to do that. You can just be completely you, and you will be loved for who you are.
Who and what inspires you?
Everything. There's not one thing that doesn't inspire me. If I see a sunset it can spark a song. If I see an amazing individual, unique, and they're like over in the corner and wearing something spectacular, not because it's fancy, but because they're unique and they have a style and they have a point of view and they have a perspective, I can just be enamored with that person. And it might inspire me to say, whoa, I need to be like, let me connect with my individuality again. Books inspire me a lot. I love reading. I love words. Words definitely supercharge me. Being around people, and obviously, we're not as around people as we used to be, but being able to connect with people in a real way, having real conversations, hearing their point of view, understanding how they're thinking, it lights me up, man. It makes me it lights me up. It makes me really just feel connecting with people really inspires me a lot.
What makes you feel hopeful these days?
Oh man, what makes me feel hopeful? I mean, I feel like we are absolutely at a place we've never been before. I do. Even though so many things are still the same and so many certain outcomes feel like the narrative absolutely has to shift, I do feel like we're at a place we've never been before. I feel a unity and a unification between us as human beings that I don't know I've personally ever felt before. I feel a showing up from people, from young people, from old people, from all people, from international people, from local people, from everybody. I feel there's like a showing up, a desire to talk, to speak clearly, to be over certain things and to want to redesign it. I feel like there's a collective showing up that really makes me feel very, very, very hopeful, because I know that things change when we all show up. That's when it starts to really shift.
It seems almost counterintuitive that you are thinking about how we're showing up when we really can't be together. I mean, square that circle for me. How do you think about that?
I know, and I gotta say, I've been saying this for a little while now, but in some strange way, I actually feel like we're closer now. Even though we're not physically together, but because we've emotionally experienced so much of a similar situation, it put us on an even playing field that we could understand each other in a way that maybe we never even stopped to try before. And therefore, even though we cannot physically touch each other as much as we definitely want to, I feel closer. I think there's a closer knit understanding and communication and desire to be present than there ever was before. That's how I feel.
Do you feel a lot of responsibility for this time? How do you think about what is your role in it? What do you say, especially to, there are politicians and news people out there who say artists should just dribble, sing. They shouldn't be these political animals. What do you say to that?
I'm so offended by that. Like, I'm deeply offended by that statement. And trust me, I hear it a lot. I hear it on my IG. I'll have a point of view and you got to see the comments. Just sing the song. Go back to promoting your record. I'm like, you know what? First of all, that type of level of ignorance is what is the problem, because we all have to show up. And there's 100 different ways to show up, by the way. There's so many ways to show up. There's so many ways to be active. There's so many ways to express yourself. And I feel like we all have to show up and we all have to express ourselves the best we can. If that's through music, express it through music. If that also happens to be that you're very strong-minded and you have a very intellectual side of your brain and you want to share it, you got to share it. If that happens to be cooking or dancing or science or whatever that is, we have to show up and we have to be willing to talk to each other with respect and love. Because this is something that's, naturally, because we're in a technological era where you don't even have to have a face and your name isn't even really your name. People often don't have the honor or are not honorable enough to stand behind their word, And so we have to be able to have respectful conversations, show up, speak to what we know, learn. We're all learning, share, and then act. We got to do stuff. We can't just talk about it. We have to also then make a plan it, try it. Sometimes we mess it up, do it again, and we have to be engaged.
Tell me, you said you read some of the IG comments. What's that like? You know, because you get obviously millions of them over time, and all of them aren't pleasant. Does that even affect you, or why do you read them? Because I think the issue that we have with all the greatness that comes from these social media platforms is the downside is also great, and it creates so much insecurity in some of our teens because comments can be so tough. How do you handle that?
You know, I mean, I know, trust me, I know. I truly know. And of course, it can feel hurtful, and you can feel, you can feel attacked. Look, and cyberbullying is not a joke. It's like, there's real stuff happening that, just are not the right way to be as a human being, a respectful human being. I think that there's two sides to it. One is that, you have to stand behind what you feel and what you do. And if you feel it and you do it and you said it, there's going to be plenty of people that don't like it. If you're an artist or you're a business person, there's going to be plenty of people that dissent your point of view. But you have to know that you believed in it, you created it, you shared it, you spoke it, and that's how you feel. And so,
but what about the people who then say things that are horrible, brutal, and say, well, that's what I feel?
Well, that goes back to surrounding yourself with energy that you get fulfilled by. And look, if you're on your IG or you're on your socials and there's a bunch of negative people, then either turn off the comments so that they can't comment to your thing and you can just do your thing, or get off. Don't be on social media. Like if it feels like it's literally attacking you or hurting you or creating anxiety or something that is feeling like you are then losing confidence or feeling like this approval thing is really, really tricky. That's kind of what I was talking about, how I battled with that too, having to always be approved of. At some point, you have to approve of yourself, and that is all that you can do, So, but I would suggest if things are hurting you or bothering you or making you feel down, and then you can't even concentrate, and now you're not doing your work, and you're not, feeling bright or happy, then turn it off or shut it off, because it's not worth it.
Right. So before I turn it over to our awesome teens who are going to ask you questions, I know they're waiting there with bated breath, and I'm excited to hear from them. We have a lot of teens on this call, thousands, that want to pursue their passions in the art world. It might be an artist, it might be a rapper, it might be dancer. I mean, that's what we do, is we run enrichment programs for them to pursue their passion.
Love it.
What do you think of, what would you say to encourage them in an environment where it feels like it could be impossible? What would you say, about breaking through and pursuing these passions?
First of all, I'm so excited that you get to experience these programs and these moments where you can express yourself and be with other people that love what you love, and continue to bring forth that energy, that beautiful energy, because art is so important and powerful. And even if it's not art, if it's science, if it's business, to me, it's all art, because when you are creating something, you are birthing it from nothing. You are dreaming up something. You are putting the time in to build something that didn't exist before you put the energy into it. So it's all art, and it's all manifestation, and it's really, really powerful, and it's very, very needed, because we have to see each other going after our passions and our joys, because it reminds the other person, wait a minute, what do I love? Because we all are looking for what we love. And the more that we're able to do what we love, the more we're able to create an energy that is, positive, powerful, igniting. And so I would just say, we need you. We need you. You have to keep going. Don't stop. Don't quit. It's going to get hard. It's going to be tough. It's going to not work out sometimes. You're going to miss it. You're going to you have to sometimes falter and stumble, because you grow, you learn, you get better, your grit, you get stronger, your character grows. You just have to keep at it. Somebody said the other day, don't quit before the miracle. Don't quit before the miracle. There is a miracle waiting for you. There's a real live thing that you are creating and manifesting. And that's because you're putting in your hours, you're putting in your time, you're giving it your all, you love it, it brings you joy. Follow what brings you joy. Just like what Mellody said, you just said that. You said the phone call that comes in, the one that brings me joy, I'm gonna pick up. And the one that doesn't bring me joy, I probably don't want to pick up. So it's same in life. Go for what brings you joy. And I believe that it really will lead you in the path that you're meant to go on. So yes, is everything gonna be easy and fall in your lap in 2 seconds? Probably not. But we need you so much to be the joy. My brother Hank Willis Thomas, an amazing artist, he always calls it civic joy. He's like, we need civic joy. So find your joy, be the joy, and you will see what comes your way. It's just the universal law.
That is so good. I wrote it down. It is that good. So first of all, I will quote you. That is so good. I'm going to turn it over. I could go on forever, but I'm going to turn it over to JJ Rivera-Regay and Sierra Evans. So please welcome them, Sierra and JJ. Sierra is an alum from our dance group, and she's currently a student at Morgan State University, and she's studying screenwriting. So she's pursuing her passion in the arts. And she's also studying animation, something I know a little bit about from having been the chairman of DreamWorks Animation. And JJ participated in our vocal arts program, is currently studying jazz and vocal arts at the University of Illinois at Chicago. So both are going and pursuing their dreams. JJ and Sierra, take it away.
Thank you so much, Mellody, for that beautiful introduction. I am Sierra J. Evans, and I am just honored to be here to be speaking with you, Alicia, and thank you, Mellody, for this beautiful opportunity. I participated in the Forward Momentum program, which is by Pierre Lockett, my favorite instructor in the whole wide world.
Yes.
I live in the Hyde Park neighborhood in Chicago, Illinois, and I have been an After School Matters participant for about 4 years, and now I'm here as an After School Matters adult.
Wow.
So, as she said, I attend Morgan State University, I major in screenwriting and animation, and I have hopes to do things such as this in my career field, so I'm very honored to be here. And then my next door neighbor over here is...
Hi, I'm JJ Rivera-Regay, and I participated in the HHW Vocal Arts Ensemble, just one of the programs here at After School Matters. But I live in Jefferson Park, north side of Chicago, and I went to Taft High School. So throughout all my years at Taft, I've been an ASM teen. DJ Foundations, Joffrey Dance Collective, and then HHW Vocal Arts pulled me in for the last 2 years of high school. But as a motivated and aspiring artist and an enormous fan of yours, Alicia Keys, I knew I was going to meet you someday. I knew I was going to, but what I didn't know was that it was going to be this soon. And we're both extremely honored to be able to sit with you today, and we're going to take a lot from this conversation. So let's go again. Let's get started.
I love y'all.
Thank you. We love you too.
First question is, I want to start with this unprecedented time in history that we're all living in right now, especially as an artist. We're all handling it differently, and there's a lot of, some more than others, like where it might affect them, such as myself. And I wanted to get a little bit of your input. How have you personally worked to both maintain and improve your craft during this time?
Yeah, no, that's so good. Thank you so much. Man, you know, it's been totally interesting and not quite what I thought either. And again, like I said, I've been learning how to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. So for me, that doesn't always happen easily. I tend to be a person that really likes things kind of organized and everything like that. Probably many of us are. But I've been learning how to be comfortable being uncomfortable. And one of the things that I've really made sure that I'm doing during this process, is carving out space for myself so that I can have the time and the space to dedicate to, you know, my songwriting, to dedicate to listening, to dedicate to quiet, to dedicate to writing. Just like I said, I write in a journal. Even that alone, 10 minutes a day, it opens something in me, and it creates a certain solidness that I don't feel when I don't do it. So when I've discovered things that fill me up in a way that feels progressive and productive, I really have worked hard to honor the space. So to create like a sacred space for myself. Look, for me, I'm a mom, I have kids, you know, I have a lot of things happening. So sometimes that, you know, 20 minutes is like major for me sometimes, you know? So as much space as you can create for yourself, and I've been doing that. And then even at night after the kids go to sleep, I'll make sure that I'm practicing. I'll try a new song that I've been wanting to try. I'll work on a classical piece that I've been thinking about for a long time. I'll just, you know, sit quietly or watch something inspiring, you know, something that I've been said, man, I've been wanting to watch that forever. How come I haven't watched that? Again, I'm really about putting in my body things that are going to enhance it. And so I try to make sure I have the time to do that. So that's one of my practices that I've, you know, promised myself and done pretty good at. I'm pretty proud of myself. How about you guys?
I would say during this time, personally, I really organize myself with like an organizer or a planner or a checklist or anything of that nature to make sure that I stay on top of what I have to do. This is pretty much a tough time being senior year in screenwriting because it's a lot you have to do. Animation takes a lot of work. And I won't talk too much because I want JJ to have to tell you what he's going through too. But it's been a lot, like 60 pages, keep rewriting. So hopefully it works out in my favor.
Yes, I hear you though. It is a lot. And JJ, how about you? What have you been kind of doing?
Well, in my situation, it's been really difficult. Like, I'm a freshman in college, so I mean, like, especially like I didn't really get to graduate how I wanted to. So just being able to stay positive through everything really helps a lot. And actually, like you said, like, I think it is really important to feed your soul, because things that make me happy are like, I'm an extrovert, so I need external factors to be able. Yeah, exactly. So one of them actually yesterday when I was trying to clean my room was watching the Color Studio. You sang 3 Hour Drive with Sir. It was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. It made my heart like so happy. So
oh man, thank you. That's powerful.
Of course. Awesome. And I definitely know how like that's power, like those things. So that's what helped me stay on my stuff.
I love that. I love that. Thank you for sharing. That's awesome.
Yes, well, we wanted to thank you for your perseverance and everything that you shared with us. JJ, yours too. That was deep. But we know your music is timeless. Many of our current students and alumni, such as myself, probably all remember the first time we heard an Alicia Keys song and they heard it on the radio. Now, for me, it was probably in the house because my mom plays you all the time, so we're like really big fans. So thank you. Yeah, she's on the call right now. As a veteran, though, of the music industry, how have you grown as an artist from your first album, Songs in A Minor, which every single song was in A Minor, so claps to you, to your most recent album, Alicia? And what influence do you hope that your music brings to new listeners such as us?
Oh my gosh. First of all, your questions are super bomb. I wish everybody asked me these great questions. You know, I have grown so much naturally. Like I said, when I first started, my first song I ever wrote, I was 14 years old. And the first time that I, you know, even when I put out Fallen and that first Songs in A Minor album, I was 18 years old. I was a super, you know, baby, just trying to figure out like what in the world to do. And you know, it was definitely a huge process. I think that I was able to be disciplined enough to stay focused, and that wasn't always easy, but I'm grateful for that. And I think over time I grew because I learned more about myself. I was able to have the experiences to start to realize, wow, I don't like that at all. You know, you have to have experiences to know what you don't like.
Yeah.
Just as much as what you do like, you know, so that you can say, okay, that happened, I'm not doing that again. You know, it's just part of it. So yeah. I started to gather those kind of tools and things like that. And so as an artist, I continue to search, I continue to grow, I continue to put myself in an uncomfortable place. Like I wouldn't, even to this day, I don't do what I know I can do. I do what I don't know I can do, so that I can constantly challenge myself and say like, okay, we know you can do that, but what's over here that you might learn or discover? And it's scary. Sometimes you're like, I'm scared. I don't want to be here. I don't even know what's over here. But there's something really powerful about taking yourself outside of your comfort zone and trying things you never tried before. And I think that philosophy has really been good for me and helped me grow as an artist through the process. Even with collaboration or working with other people, at the beginning, I didn't really like working with other people because I was so nervous. I felt so vulnerable. I didn't want people to know my secrets. Like, wait a minute, I want to tell you everything. Yeah. But now I realize, there's something so beautiful about sharing yourself. And it's actually something really cool about sharing yourself with somebody that doesn't know you. Because the people that do know you kind of have a prejudgment about you already. Yeah. And then the people that don't know you, maybe they're more open to who you actually are. So I've found that I've been able to actually be more clearly who I am with people that don't know me. So that's been quite interesting. So that's part of how I've been growing and as an artist, and I definitely see the growth. But I'm also proud to say that I recognize that same young woman from Songs in A Minor today. And I'm very proud of that. And when people meet me and they knew me then and they know me now and they're like, man, Alicia, your spirit is still the same. And I'm very grateful for that, because the world can change you and it can take you and try to mix you up and make you change and be different. And of course, we're here to grow. So we don't want to stay the same. We want to grow. But I think as your spirit, your energy, that light, you want to, hopefully hold on to. So I'm proud that I can say I recognize that girl still, even today.
And I commend you for that, because I think we both agree that your spirit has stayed the same till today.
Thank you.
And although you gave us such great advice already, what advice would you give to teens who may be doubting their future as an artist? So how did you overcome your doubts during this time?
Yeah, look, I doubt myself this morning. Seriously, I'm being so honest with you. There's days where I'm like, oh my gosh, can I actually do this? Whatever might be before me, I'm like, can I do this? Am I gonna work? Is this gonna go right? I was on stage the other day and I was kind of worked up because I had to do a number of things very quickly and I didn't have the chance to kind of settle in, and I had to do a performance. And I had to stop myself, and I'd say, Alicia, stop. You can do this. You can do this. All you have to do is choose to be great. Are you going to choose it? I need you to choose it right now. Don't let all the other things, all the noise, all the outside things, what people say, what you think people are saying, all these things that we do, that we create all these worlds that may or may not exist. At some point you got to look at yourself, and those worlds are what create the doubt. They create the noise, they create the uncertainty, whatever the case is. And at some point you got to look at yourself and you say, do you want this? Do you want to do your best? Because all we can do is our best. And as long as you're putting your all into what you're doing, and you are doing your best, not by his standards, her standards, they standards, your standards, you have to do your best that you can. And I find that when I do that, I feel proud, even if it didn't go exactly as I thought, even if I still feel nervous, even if I still feel doubtful. I know that I put my all into it. I did my absolute best, and I feel proud, So that's what I would say. Just keep at it, keep practicing, keep trying, keep, talking to yourself. I will look at myself in the mirror and I will say, you deserve this. And I will tell myself that in the mirror. You got to talk to yourself and tell yourself what you need to hear. I am special. I am unique. I am here to bring something to the world that no one's seen. I am the only me that exists. I am one of one. These type of things, repeat them, convince yourself, because everyone's going to try to convince you otherwise. And that's the point. It's a battle between your mind, So that's some of the tools that I use to try to make sure that I'm kind of fighting back from that negative talk that's in our head, all of our heads.
Wow. Okay. And that's
took it in though.
I wish I had my notepad here. I'm trying to remember everything.
I remember the top half, you got the bottom half.
All right. But awesome. I actually had a quick question too, just personally, because I have I have trouble with time management, like honestly. And like you're a mom and like an icon in the industry. How do you manage it? What are some tips for me?
You know what? This is a damn good question because look, it's a real thing. It is a real thing, and especially as a student and as a young person, and there's so much going on. You know, your friends over here. You got your, you know, you have your commitments to yourself. Your parents want you to do this. You have your school. You have to do that. You have your own, you know, dreams that you're working on. It's like, whoa, how in the world do you organize it to be able to actually happen? And it's true because there's a strong power. This word manifestation is really, really powerful because it's one thing to dream of something and it's another thing to manifest it. And I think that, you know, it's in all of our ability to manifest our dreams, period. That's a God-given fact. We can all manifest whatever we think. Think back centuries, eons, hundreds of ancient civilizations. What has been manifested came from nothing, you know? And so I try to remind myself that I can manifest anything that I can think of. That's just the truth. So what I do though, is I'm quite a serious scheduler. So I find that if I don't schedule it, like truly, if I'm not like, okay, at 3 p.m., I'm gonna take the time to practice my piano because I have to make sure that I know this song for next week. I'm going to practice at 3 p.m. every day so that by next week, I know what I need to know. If I'm not doing that, I'm off over here. And the next thing I know is 2 a.m. and I'm like, oh, I forgot to do, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I truly believe in actually creating your own schedule. So you know what you have to do. You have your school thing from this to this. You have your after school thing from this to this. You got to do homework from this to this. And look, even if it's one time a week, it's okay. Even if one time a week you're like, I'm going to work at this part here, I'm going to put this in here. And sometimes you got to tell your friends, man, I can't get on House Party right now. I can't be on Snapchat right now. I want to, but right now, if I don't do this, no one's going to do it for me. You know what I mean? So I find that, and then also schedule in fun though, too. Schedule in the time to hang out. Schedule in the time to be with, again, those people that fill you up. Schedule in the time to take a walk. Schedule in the time to, so I find that if I schedule in those pieces, eventually add it up, I've seen how I've progressed forward. So really bust your pen and your paper out or on your phone, write it out, and then like put alerts on your phone, like go for it, you know? For me, that's how I balance everything.
We are one and the same with that aspect. I am the same exact way. I really wanted to thank you for all that you're doing with our Black Lives Matter movement as well. Thank you for that beautiful introduction you had with the NFL with Lift Every Voice and Sing. But you know, a very important thing of our movement right now is the election. So with the election season in full swing, and After School Matters has always worked to encourage youth civic engagement. However, many experts are concerned that our younger voter turnout may be drastically low, which I hope not, but it's what they're counting on so far. So why is voting so important to you, and what advice do you have for first-time voters?
Yeah, so for first-time voters, I mean, I think, look, it's like a foreign language. So what the heck is this anyway? And who are these people? Like, truly, I'm being very candid and very honest, and that's okay. Nobody knows everything. Nobody knows everything. Everybody it's a learning process. We're blessed because we live in such the technological age that we can seek out the information that we need to learn and look and take a little time to research it. I'm actually personally doing that as well because I'm very, very much interested in down the ballot. For me, I think that we're recognizing that it's really on the local level that we can start to see a lot more of a immediate change, you know, that where sometimes it feels like, whoa, everything is, where do we start? So I think on the local level is such a smart place to start, and in your community is such a powerful way to start. It's meaningful, it really does things. So go ahead down the ballot and go ahead and I've requested my ballot, you know, so you can, anywhere does it, where we all vote, you know, rock the vote, go ahead and just search vote, and 100 things are going to come up to tell you when registration ends, how to, you know, how to sign up, how to check if you're still registered. And it's super easy. I don't know why that's beeping. I'm sorry.
Okay, we can still hear you perfectly fine.
All right, so, and it's super easy because it's something that you can do. So first, know that it's not the most difficult thing on the planet. It's simple enough, you will understand it and know it, and that you don't have to know everything. It's a process. So I think if we start now, obviously it's coming up soon, but if we start now, most important is to be registered, because that's the worst, to finally turn around, wake up, and then you can't even do it because you're not registered.
Yeah.
But be registered, and then start to learn more about what it is you care about and who represents those things that you want to care about, so that you can, you know, align yourself with people that are doing things that matter to you. So I definitely am encouraging everyone to show up. I think that, you know, voter suppression is a real thing, and voter suppression comes in multiple amount of ways, and much of it has to do with making us think that we aren't as powerful as we are, and we are very powerful. And young people, you see what's going on. You see what's happening. People, the whole world is shifting because of you. Because you are so dedicated and focused and showing up and making noise and loud, and all your friends are showing up, and it is a real thing. The whole world, business is shifting drastically. People know they can't do the same things anymore because we're not standing for it. So just know your power, execute it, and be willing to learn. Don't be afraid, and you know, let's keep learning together. I'm gonna close this door. That's driving me crazy.
Gotcha.
My gosh, I can't take it. Please stop. It's a little better. It's a little bit better. I'm back.
Okay. That's perfectly fine.
All right. Awesome.
Well, amen. That was awesome. And I think that's all we have time for today, but
No, we miss you already.
I love being here with you. You guys are so brilliant and bright, really. And everybody that's on this call right now is like such a special, important part of this universe. And a lot of times I think about, like, man, there's only one you. Like you and you and you and you and you and you and you is literally only one. How important and special you are. You've been crafted and created specifically for your purpose on this planet. And so it's up to us to just continue to uncover what that is, to discover it, to give ourselves the space to do it. And thankfully for organizations like this that really, you know, allow you to get introduced to different things that, you know, you probably would have never even known otherwise or had access to. So just remember that you are literally the only one of you. Nobody thinks like you, nobody does it like you, nobody draws like you, nobody dances like you, nobody animates like you, nobody does what you do. And just feel confident and proud to continue to uncover your uniqueness.
Yeah. Thank you so much for your wisdom and your spirit. Thank you, Mellody, for bringing Alicia here. Thank you, Mary Lightfoot, for introducing us and introducing After School Matters as a whole. Me and JJ both really appreciate everything you guys had for us today.
On behalf of all of After School Matters and all ASM teams, thank you. Thank you very much.
You guys, thank you guys.
Alicia, I told you they'd be awesome.
They're amazing. She did.
Right now.
They are awesome.
So,
I'm in wonderment of our teens. I know how brilliant they are, and I'm so grateful to you for being able to engage with them. These are memorable moments for all of us. You said so many things that just slayed me. I wrote them down, and this idea of only one of you crafted for your purpose on this planet. The point that you made about choosing to be great, I do think about that all the time. And don't quit before the miracle. That is, I mean, it's beyond. Wow. And you know, I know so many people love you. I am one of them. I'm so grateful to you as a friend that you would take time with Chicago and Chicago area teens who so need to hear from you. So grateful. So grateful for the gift that you bring to the world, not just your music, but your soul. So thank you so, so much. We're going to have the CEO of the Chicago Public Schools close us out. But before she does that, I just want to ask you all to stay around because Alicia has provided us with 2, not 1, but 2 of her new videos so we can watch them. this is all done. But Alicia, I'm teary with gratitude for the person that you are. So thank you so very much.
You too.
Dr. Jackson.
All right. Thank you, Mellody. First of all, I want to pile on and extend that gratitude towards Miss Alicia Keys. So many great gems today. The one that I really want to lift up, especially for our young folks listening here today, is the importance of voting, but really that down ballot voting is critically important. So thank you for dropping so many gems, and thank you for doing it with love and joy and humanity. I also want to give a special shout out to Mayor Lightfoot and First Lady Amy Eshelman for participating today, as well as Mellody Hobson. And then we have to give a big shout out to Sierra and JJ, who did a phenomenal job representing Chicago Public Schools, After School Matters, and more importantly, themselves. Finally, to the After School Matters teens who are on this call, but also staying actively engaged during this pandemic, I just want to say continue to be great. We love you, we are counting on you, and we're doing this for you because you matter. So on behalf of Chicago Public Schools, I just want to say thank you and have a good evening.